Hello everyone and welcome to Content Analytics, Discovering Insights. Today I'm going to be giving you a demonstration of content analytics. My name is Frank Minicucci and I've been an enterprise content management consultant for over 25 years, working for a number of the major consultancies. And today I'm going to be showing you probably about 15 minutes worth of demonstrations using content analytics. So, as a background, content analytics is based on enterprise search and text analytics, and you're going to be seeing that as we go through the demonstration. From the business intelligence side, when you're doing BI, you really lack the sufficient context to understand why you're getting some of the results you're getting, and we'll talk about that as we go through the presentation. To understand a little bit about the text analytics or natural language processing component, really what it does is it uses these text analytics such as these, entity extraction, dictionary lookup, pattern matching, sentiment analysis, and there's a number of other ones. But the way analytics work is they look at an unstructured document and they're able to create structure from the unstructured document. So you can see in this example how it automatically extracted the person, the product, price, the company, location, and issues. So as we dive into text analytics, you're going to see how the natural language processing allows us to do some of the mining that we need to do. And from a high-level standpoint, really the what is happening comes from your business intelligence. A lot of your structured data will give you the kind of what's going on in your business. Why it's happening really comes from the text and content analytics standpoint, where you're doing your mining and discovering insights in your content. So hopefully you'll enjoy this presentation and we'll jump right into it now. Okay, so let's jump into the demonstration here. So here we are inside of IBM Watson Explorer Content Analytics. And you see it's a very interesting interface. We do have our search capability up here. We have all of our facets listed down here. So the facets are really built from the text analytics. As you remember, I mentioned that text analytics is kind of the foundation to content analytics. And what the text analytics does is it gives us all these parts of speech. It kind of creates those. It also is able to give us sentiment expression and document clusterings, terms of interest, all their vehicle information. It's more of the structured content that came from the document set. And actually, the document set is from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. And we have approximately 900,000 documents in here. And we also brought some content in from Edmunds that you can see down here. But there's a lot of different types of facets that we built through our text analytics, things like weather, incident information, tire information, all of this car information. So text analytics is a foundation to be able to do content analytics, and it does a really good job. And also the search. So let's, just to give you an example of the search, we'll type, let's see, head-on collision as an example. So you see when we did that, it gave us all, out of those 900,000, it gave us 18 hits on different documents that were related to head-on collisions, and we could begin to drill down on those if we wanted to understand maybe what manufacturers were more highly correlated. We go into here and see the Chrysler Group is the most highly correlated with head-on collisions, and those documents related to that. So again, that's just an example of how to use a search. So how we're going to do this is we're going to start in our facets, and we're going to look for a manufacturer, and we want to sort this on frequency. So you'll see here that we have Ford Motor Company listed twice, and that's really from the being all caps in here. So we could fix this inside of our text analytics by using some normalization techniques, but this is out of the box, so you see both of them here. We're going to go ahead and select Toyota, and we're going to add that to the query. And when we click on that, you notice that it brings up the Toyota into the query here. So now we want to look at a modified noun and see if we see anything interesting. And we really want to sort on correlation to understand what are the most highly correlated items related to Toyota. So we see something very interesting here. We have our unintended acceleration and sudden acceleration. So that looks interesting. Let's see what we can discover. So we add that to our query. And then let's look at our noun sequence and see if we can see anything else that's interesting. And we see floor mat. Well, that makes a lot of sense, right? So we can see how that would actually be involved in sudden acceleration. So we're going to, right at this point, we have learned something that these floor mats are causing problems. So we're going to add that to the query. Then we also want to just see what models are really involved in this. And we see this Lexus ES350 is the most highly correlated. So isn't that interesting? There was a major problem there. Now let's look at our time series. And really this is a very important aspect of content analytics, being able to understand how things happen over time and the sequence. So here we see this started in 2006, and then in 2008 it happened again. And 2009 we have more, and then 2010 is when it hit the news and everybody else started going into the NISTA site and adding their comments in. So, one of the values here is to be able to see trends before they actually occur and stop. Right? I think it's cost Toyota, billions of dollars, this problem with the accidents it caused. So, that's really one of the main values of using content analytics is to discover these insights and really to help stop some of the problems before they occur. Okay, so let's look at some other features of the content analytics interface. So we'll go ahead and switch to the trends view. And from here we're going to pick the noun sequence just because it gives us more things to look at, and instead of the latest index, so usually you have these different sorts. You can do latest index is really related to the latest highest correlation, and then you have year, month, day, and we really want to look at month because it kind of shows what's going on better. So here you see this ignition switch problem. Dealer who is just a noun sequence that it found. It's really noise. Ignition switch, this is that GM problem that they had recently that caused them billions of dollars of fines. And then we have this power steering. We see 9,502 items that were selected under power steering. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to add it to the query. And then we're going to look at the facets. And we're going to look at kind of the manufacturers. Let's see who had the most problems with power steering. So here we see the BMW of North America was the most highly correlated. So we'll go ahead and select that, add it to our query. And then we'll look at the make, see what makes had the most problem. And we see the Mini here had very high correlation. So we'll go ahead and add that to the query. And now we can do some other things if we want to, like look at a verb noun sequence. And here you see that a lot of problems with steering fans, steering pumps, steer failure, steering go. So if you wanted to, you could basically select all of these steering problems. We even have a lot more down here. Steering loss, fail, fluid. Anyways, you get the idea. You can add those to the query, and then you can actually look at the documents and see what is going on. We had 150 results from that query of steering problems with the Mini. And here, you could begin to read through these. A wiring harness, the steering unit was damaged. Power steering is now staying on even after the engine's turned off. Interesting problem. So again, this is kind of a way to really get to that text that if you're just going to use a search engine, it would be really difficult to find this. And here you can go to the next page and see more problems that were found. So again, that's just another way of getting to some information when you're trying to discover insights from your millions of documents that are out there that you have access to. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at some of these other capabilities inside the system. So we're going to go ahead and look at facet pairs, because that's a pretty interesting thing to look at here. And with facet pairs, let's kind of have a noun sequence, and maybe the model. Let's see what that looks like. So here we have all the models down this end, and then all the noun sequences along the top, and you can see here that this goes on forever, right? So huge table of information here. And what this allows us to do, we have this bird's eye view, so you can begin to look at things that are highly correlated, right? So here we have this Dakota for the ball joint problem, right? There's basically 7,200 ball joint problems, and there's 4,478 Dakota. And here we have a real high correlation of those type of problems. And again, we can open up our document screen and look at that and see all the documents related to that. But this bird's eye view is a really good way, because you can see, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but you can actually see the things that are the different specks of red, yellow, and orange, where you kind of really quickly find these highly correlated items like this, right over here. Another view that we have is this connections view. So the connections is basically like a network diagram that kind of shows us how things are correlated. And right here, this is pretty complicated, right? Complicated view. So we're going to bring the correlation a bit higher so we can see things that are more correlated. We can kind of fit to the screen. So again, this is another way of finding information that's highly correlated. You can kind of go through any of these facet pairs to understand, the kind of the entities that you're looking for and seeing how close they are. Here we see our ball joint in Durango is really highly correlated. But again, it's just another way of looking for insights in your data, finding things that are correlated, where you might be able to find problems that are important to you. Again, another view is this dashboard view. So here, let's say that Durango and power steering was important. You could create a dashboard just on that, where you can kind of get updates to see what's going on. Again, just another way of being on top of your content, understanding what is going on in your system. Another view that we have is the sentiment view. So this is doing sentiment analysis. Scroll up to the top, and you can see GM and Ford have these highly negative sentiment. They do have some green positive sentiment. If you want to look at the negative sentiment, you can come in here. Here's all your documents. So you always have the ability to kind of push this up, so you're able to see, look at the documents in real time and seeing what things are kind of positive and negative. And there's also other kind of capabilities in this. We won't get into it now, but you have this kind of deep parsing for sentiment analysis, where it actually breaks out your sentence structure, so you understand kind of the subject of the sentiment. It allows you to kind of drill into different areas of your text and find more of these important areas that are critical to look at. And again, with sentiment, if you had to use a search engine to find this stuff, it would take you forever. This really kind of drills down into, right what you're looking for. If you're looking for customer information, you can see your positive and your negative. Here's sustaining injuries, right? So we have customer sustains head injuries, customer sustained injuries too. So you have all that information available to you. One last thing I wanted to show you is, that I did from here, is the ability to do reports. So you can do things like deep inspection reports. I don't have that turned on right now, but you're able to do kind of a deep inspection and get a report off that. You can just do a simple report, CSV file, where you're able to create and download a CSV. If you have Cognos installed, you can do a Cognos report. You can see that right next to this. And again, you can even kind of have live Cognos reports coming off this data stream that you have. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. It kind of gives you a high-level overview of what is possible with content analytics. Thank you for taking the time to